Thank you and welcome to another episode of boleleng Fridays. This is SADTU's platform that is meant to provide a space for all stakeholders to come and talk about this upcoming national general elections. The 29th of May has been declared, and today we are having our guest, Cde Matakanye Matakanye, the General Secretary of the National Association of School Governing Bodies. This is your show for the teachers by the teachers. We are saying boleleng asikhulume. You are representing a body of school governing bodies. And we know that the Minister of Basic Education has proclaimed that in March, from the 1st to the 31st to the 30th of March, we will be having SGB elections. We have often heard complaints and comments quite as proactively as we would want them to be during this particular era of school governing bodies. What would be your message to the parent who is sitting out there watching this particular program right now in the context of the upcoming SGB elections? As we greet you, Pratax.
Thank you very much, Olani, and I'm grateful that SADTU has created this type of a platform where we can talk to the community, we can talk to the society, parents, teachers, as parents, the young people who are going to be parents tomorrow. You know, the school governing body is very, very important if we want schools to function well. And function well in this case, I'm referring to receiving quality education. Then you must have quality governance. And quality governance, and I'm talking about governance, and governance in this instance, we are referring to parents who have got children in the school. We are referring to teachers who are teaching in that school. We are referring to support staff who are supporting in that school. We are also referring to the principal. By the virtue of being a principal, is a member of the school governing bodies. In the high school, our young people are also members. These 5 components is a school governing bodies. And I want to talk to them today using this platform, SADTU platform, that the minister has made a pronouncement that on the 1st of March, all schools must go to elections. And that is the 1st of March to the 31st of March. But practically speaking, we know that these elections are only going to run for 2 weeks. The reason is, on the 20th of this month, schools are closing for the first term. And why am I encouraging parents to ensure that they use these 2 weeks or they use these 2 weekends? Is due to the fact that when schools reopen, the country will be concentrating on the general elections. But that should not be the excuse. You are very, very important stakeholder in the education of your children. Mm-hmm. And it's important. It's very, very important because we don't have time. We don't have time to go to the 31st. We don't have time. School governing bodies are important. And we are saying, please elect parents who have got interest in the education of our children, who are committed. We want those parents, and you know them, elect them in those positions. Governing is important because they will be doing policies of those schools. Like, for instance, now we learn that now there is no more discipline in our schools. Our children are killing our teachers. Our children are swearing at our teachers. Our teachers are undermining our teachers. And how do they receive education if they kill the teachers, if they undermine the teachers, if they do those things? And we are saying this thing, it must stop. And it's us, parents, who must stop it. Because our children must be told that you are going to school, you are going to learn. These elections are very, very important. Elect all those people that have made mention of, but make sure that those people who have got records, who cannot handle their money, the parents that cannot work with children, they cannot be voted into office. So you know, those are the kind of parents that we want you to go and vote for.
Now, Pratax, before we move away from the issue of the school governing bodies as well, because I feel it is a very, very important element of how a school community should operate. Can you just assist us, educators, just break it down for us? What are some of the key roles of the school governing body in the context of ensuring that a school is ran smoothly, ensuring that there is accountability in terms of spending of resources, in terms of ensuring as well that the issues around discipline, issues around policy development are actually done. What are some of those roles of the SGB? And I want you to then link that particular issue to the capacitation of SGBs. We know that SGBs have, for instance, in some instances, they have to deal with issues like corporate governance, how you use school resources, which laws, which legal frameworks to follow, and so forth. If I may then ask that, would it be your view or not that there are adequate interventions made to ensure that school governing bodies are properly capacitated? But not only that, like I said, break it down for us. What are some of the main tasks, highlight them, of a school governing body?
South African Schools Act 84 of 1996, as amended, Section 20 talks about the roles and responsibilities. Support the teacher, support the principal. Hiring of staff, teachers, principal, school governing bodies. Discipline, code of conduct for learners, school governing bodies. Hearing, school governing bodies. Budgeting, Section 37, that the school governing body must call for AGMs. How much the government has given them, and what are their projects, and whether the money that the government has given them will suffice for the project that they have in the school. Role and responsibility of the school governing body must produce the forms and be transparent, and then bring them to the forms. They fill up the forms and all those things. So this is the role that the school governing body is playing. Also, policy formulations, school governing bodies. I mean, like for instance, you must have a finance policy in school. You can't just use money without having a policy how this money in the school has to be used. So that policy is drawn by the school governing body. Now, I think you asked question of capacity.
Capacity.
Worse when it comes to parents. Because when it comes to democracy, you are not going to say, no, this parent is not exposed to policy formulation, policy making, and all that. Therefore, he cannot be part of the school governing body. You elect them into that position, but really, what is needed is for them to be capacitated. How to formulate financial policy, a code of conduct for learners, how to craft number of policies that are needed in the school. So they are crafted by the school government. So I think particularly the working class schools, the township schools, the poorest, the rural, the deep rurals, they don't receive enough capacity building. Section 19 of South African Schools Act, it says, with the money that has been appropriated by the legislature, then the HOD must continuously capacitate the school governing bodies. The HOD has been given power to ensure that school governing bodies are developed so that they must be able to do the work that I've talked about. I mean, policy development is a mammoth task. So you must develop these people. So at times, it heartens me when the school governing body is going to be disbanded and say, no, this school governing body cannot work, this governing body does not know anything, and all those things, without looking at the HOD who's supposed to have done that work. And us as National Association, we're also capacitating them, but we don't have enough resources to do that. We don't have resources. But the law says the HOD, with the money that he is been given by the legislature, he must continuously, he must train, he must continuously capacitate the school governing body.
Now, I hear you, Pratax. In fact, where you are driving to, what I'm picking up from you is that the ANC has actually gone, the ANC government-led government has actually gone a long way towards ensuring that we reach one of our key objectives as a society. We always speak, Pratax, about people's education for people's power. And the one way in which you can get that is by involving as much as you can the parental element part of it. Let's move to our next issue very swiftly. The 29th of May has been declared as the date for the national general elections. It is a big day in the context of our fairly young democracy, but now it is also a day that seeks to remind us of where we were for 372 years up until 1994, and we have had 30 years of freedom to undo the damage that would have been done over 372 years of real oppression, from a legislative to a constitutional point of view, to even representation. Some racial groups were not allowed to participate in elections, whilst others were. What would be the attitude of the National Association of School Governing Bodies? Would you say the ANC has got a strong case to make to South Africans?
Vote ANC. Don't ever make mistake. And listening to all these noises that are made these noises. ANC has started a journey, and this journey started 1994 of liberating this country. 1994. From 4 systems: imperialism, colonialism, slavery, and lastly, apartheid. So you'll be making mistake by listening to all these voices. It is true, Kolani, that you can't compare 30 years as opposed to 375 years. And you say, then the journey is being completed. Our children are going to school free in this country. Free. As much as schools are categorized in 5, quintile 1, quintile 2, quintile 3, quintile 4, quintile 5. It's for a parents to choose. It's for parents to choose. But if you don't have money, you fall automatically under quintile 1 or quintile 2 or quintile. It's a no-fee school. Your child will start grade R free and even grade 12, up to grade 12. Free books, free computers, free everything, free internet, free. All these things are being paid by the government that is ANC-led. Scholar transport, ANC-led government. Nutrition. Our children are eating, not soap. They don't eat soap in the school. They eat nutritional food. ANC-led government. ANC-led government. And if we support ANC, I must tell you, we are still going to do, the ANC is going to do more to our children. We can't vote people that we don't know. We don't know them. And hence I'm saying, don't listen to these voices. These voices are just voices funding for their stomach. They are not interested in funding for the South Africans. It's ANC that went outside the country and say, South Africa will be liberated, and it's liberated. Give ANC opportunity to finish the journey. You can't compare. You cannot equate ANC with 30 years as opposed to 370 years. You can't do that. It's fallacy. It's general fallacy to say no. 30 years, then they must have done. They must have removed all this. And I'm saying to you, parents. I'm saying to you, the young people, learners, grade 10, grade 11, grade 12.
What would be your attitude to that kind of a remark, that you really can't thank a fish for swimming? 30 years is just not enough. Remember, here we're talking about 370-something years of oppression.
Maybe let's start it from here, let alone the covert, let alone all those things. People who are advancing that type of an argument, they don't understand economy. What is economy and how is economy created? You can't create economy without the land in your hands. Working the land needs money. And I said it, Kolani, that where is the money now? Our people are unable to act in that platform that ANC has created because they don't have money. And deliberately, they are causing this confusion so that ANC must be removed from power because ANC has failed in 30 years to create employment.
The number of participating political parties has incrementally increased. We are hearing of parties that are coming as offshoots from the ANC out of disgruntlement. We are seeing new kids on the block existing for hardly 3 months, but already being able to raise significant funds from private capital to actually participate in the election. As an activist in your own right, as a leader of the National Association of School Governing Bodies, what does that tell you? Do you think that we are possibly sitting on top of a powder keg? Are we sitting on top of an agenda that is being developed from somewhere else? I mean, we know that in South Africa we're still speaking of an investment strike. When you talk about the unemployment numbers, when we talk about the objective factors that are leading us to this particular position, you mention the lack of investment and the lack of money, to use your words, to do some of the things that we would like to do. You see political parties existing, and within 2 months they've got funds from private capital, so the investment strike is no longer applicable there. What are you sensing? What are you picking up?
People who enslave you, people who colonized you, people who gave you apartheid, they realize that there is no country like South Africa, or there is no continent like Africa. If you want peace and prosperity in this country, vote ANC. Because the truth of the matter is that we have seen the coalition in the municipality. There's no peace.
No,
there's no peace. They still want to get the resources free of charge from South Africa.
Yes.
When you don't know, when you are fighting among yourselves, this one is a Zulu, this one is a Pedi, this one is a Venda, this one is what, this one is what. That is not the object of those people. It's the object of the neo-colonialist master. He says, let them fight among themselves. Because we have to really unite. We have to unite behind ANC and transform this country so that the neo-colonialist master must never have our resources free of charge.
We are actually now counting weeks. We are counting weeks. We've got the ANC, which as SADTU through COSATU we're in alliance with. We have made our view and position very, very clear that we are voting for the ANC. It's our decision as the South African Democratic Teachers Union. Now, I want you to have a last bite on this one. How do we mobilize, help us encourage those elders, the parents of our learners, those who qualify to vote? What is your final word towards them in relation to the, I know this might be sounding repetitive, but in relation to the ANC, in relation to the 372 years of oppression and 30 years of freedom and this upcoming 29 May elections, as my last question for you to reflect on and wrap up our conversation for us, products.
South Africans, parents in particular, and your children, young people in this country, if you want peace, prosperity, vote ANC. If you want change, give ANC chance. You can't judge ANC on the distance that ANC has traveled, as opposed to the transformation that we are talking about. I mean, ANC has just traveled 30 years. So you can't judge it in 30 years. Give us more time. Vote for ANC.
We always say, actually, Bratax, thank you for that. We always give an example that the first person who will complain and say that the ANC is not working, that person is staying in an RDP house. They've got a child who is going to school and getting NSFAS. Not only that, there are social grants, stress grants. There's a number of other interventions that would be difficult for to ignore. I also appreciate, Bratax, the fact that we are saying let's give the ANC a number of other decades as well. That was another show, our program episode, boleleng Fridays. Now, this is a platform that SADTU has created, a platform that SADTU is utilizing to communicate important messages such as these upcoming elections. This is your country. This is your time to make a decision. But then don't just make any decision. As SADTU, we are very clear. Cde Matakanye also being very clear, saying that let us vote for ANC. If you want peace, if you want prosperity, if you want this country to move forward in a trajectory that will leave no one behind, vote ANC. This has been a show, boleleng on Fridays. Let's meet again next week.